Hey everyone, welcome back to another tutorial during lockdown. This time I'm going to show you how to do Easter or spring cards, things that you can send out to your family or friends. And I've got the same watercolour palette I was using the other day, just a super cheap one, but it's one of these ones where it's got all the different colours. So it's a palette rather than tubes. And I've also got the same watercolour pad I'm going to use, this one. I'll put links to everything in the description below. What I'm going to do is just grab a piece of watercolour paper and I'm going to fold it in half. So you can obviously do a larger one. This is quite thick paper actually, so just make sure you give it a really good squeeze down. You want it to be as flat as possible so that the watercolour doesn't pull at the edges. So sometimes I just use a ruler just to press against that section there. And if it's got like a weird fold in it or something, try and use the other side, or you can even turn it inside out and use it that way round. And obviously just make sure it stands up okay, because it wouldn't be great if it didn't stand up. I'm going to do a portrait, but you could do one landscape, whatever. What I'm going to do is a cross, because for a lot of people that's what Easter represents. So what I've got here is some masking tape. I've got two different sizes. I've got a thicker one and a thinner one, but if you only have a thicker one, I suppose you can cut it up. So I want to start by cutting a really straight line across the top. If you have a problem with this, you can always stick it down and do a pencil line with a ruler. So I'm just going to do what I think is a straightish line there. And then probably want it to go down to about here. So I'm also going to do a straight line there. And if you're not happy with it, this would be the moment to try and correct the line. And try to stick it down as quickly as possible because it does lose its stickiness. So I'm going to try and get that in the exact middle. Before I properly press it down, I'm just checking that I'm happy with it. So once I'm happy with it, I'm just going to press that down. Now you don't want to press the middle down too much because you don't want the paper to tear when you're taking it off. But I would advise just pressing down on the edges because you don't want the watercolour to sort of seep through them. So I kind of just press down on the edges at this point. Now I'm going to do a line across here. I want to use the thinner one because I don't really want the same thickness. So I'm going to use the thinner one and do the same sort of thing and just check how long I want it to be. And I think I just want it slightly bigger, so I'm going to do the same amount. Okay, so that's looking fine. And then I'm just going to do the same thing and just press down each of the sides. And then what I'm going to do is also pop some tape down the centre here because I don't want the ink to run over onto the next page. And it doesn't matter about the length, it just matters about that it's straight there. Okay, so I'm going to quickly cover my surface. Okay, so you want to lie your image flat because if it's folded, it will kind of pull in a specific area. So I've got a water spray here, and what I'm going to do is use that to spray onto the page. But I do also have a glass of water on the side. Here we go. For getting a little bit of the colour on the paintbrush. The paintbrush I'm going to use is this one today, which is called Proline by Pro Art. number 16. I really like these kind of soft paintbrushes. They work really well with watercolour. So I'm going to use that one. And I think the colours I'm going to use, probably yellows, maybe a bit of green, a bit of pink, kind of the spring colours, I suppose. So I'm going to start by spraying the page. You do have to work quite quickly, so just keep an eye on that. I'm also just going to pop a little bit of water in the colours that I am planning on using. Okay, so I'm going to spray my page first. And I wouldn't put like loads on it, it's got plenty on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of drop the colour like wherever like looks nice, I suppose. So I'm going to leave it like that. And now what I quite like to do is use some acrylic paint, and I'm going to mix up a little bit on my plate here. So I've got a tiny bit of each colour on the plate, and then also I've got some white. These paints, by the way, are from Crawford and Black, but you can just use any acrylic paint. And what I'm going to do is use a thinner paintbrush. Just get a bit more colour on your brush till it's kind of quite watery. And this only works if your painting is completely dry, so just make sure your painting is completely dry. And once you've kind of got it a bit watery, I use it to kind of spray on the page. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to let that at least dry for a couple of minutes before I use the hairdryer, just because I want the larger ones to dry first. Okay, so it's all dry. I'm going to start by trying to take off this one here. Now, when you're taking the sellotape off, don't pull upwards, because that is going to tear the page, more likely tear the page. What you want to do is pull adjacent to the paper and sort of as close as you can pull it upwards or downwards. So taking that off, now I'm going to try and take off the cross. So the first one I put on was this one here. Just going to pull off this one. So that seems to have come out fairly well. I'm quite happy with it. I feel like it looks quite pretty. Thanks for watching this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all soon with a new video. Bye guys!